Hello, I'm Steve Healy and I work for Aging Well in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. And today we're going to do a cooking demonstration with my very good coworker and friend.
Steve Westman. Hi, I'm Steve Westerman. And is Steve's hair sticking up? Not really. I think it looks pretty good. Look at me. I look like a friggin' rooster. Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway.
Well, maybe you are.
I'm happy to be back.
Yes, we're glad to see you. We've had a couple of weeks off.
Yes.
You were a little under the weather and I decided to take a week off. So
You had a good vacation?
I had a wonderful vacation. It's nice to be able to just change your scenery and unplug.
Oh, cool.
So that's what I did. But today what we're going to do, and I think Laura Jean thinks it's okay if we talk about that now, is I'm going to make today, with some garden tomatoes, thanks to Penny, and some basil from my garden, I'm going to make a tomato pie.
Wow.
Tomato pie.
Tomato pie.
Tomato pie.
Not the kind you can put in your face.
No, and it's not dessert either.
Oh, it's not dessert.
No, it's not dessert. And if you would put the tomato pie in my face, I would not be happy.
I know.
I would have to retaliate.
Right.
So what we've done is, just for the sake of time, is the first thing you need is a pie shell. And what I've done is I've pre-baked this just so that we have saving the time, okay? And what I did was early this morning, I blanched the tomatoes from the garden. And what I did was, one second, and what I did was I peeled them. I blanched them for just a minute. I peeled them. And then what I did was I'm letting them drain to get a lot of the moisture out.
Okay. So my question was, what is blanching?
Blanching is, I have some salted water, depending on the size of what you're blanching. What I did was I cut a little cross in the bottom of the tomato. I put it in the boiling water for 30 seconds to a minute. I pulled them out, put them right into an ice bath, and let them cool down. Then I was able to peel the skin off the tomato. This is not, you don't have to do this. You do not have to blanch the tomatoes. I just did an extra step today because the recipe from Paula Deen calls for either them blanched or not blanched.
Okay.
But I blanched them and I peeled them and they've been sitting here to get the moisture out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the paper towel and I'm going to get a little bit more moisture off of that. And it's actually very easy. I've cut up 2 spring onions. I've cut up about a 1/4 of a cup or a 1/2 a cup of basil from my garden. I have 2 cups of cheese, and to that I'm going to add some mayonnaise for the topping. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to layer the tomatoes and not try and crowd them in the bottom of the pie shell, and I'm just going to do layers. And again, thank you to Penny because she brought tomatoes in from her garden for us today to do this.
Yeah, because they can be pricey at some of the farms. I know Goodwin's is delicious. They have great corn and tomatoes. But
Well, you know, my tomatoes aren't ready yet.
Oh.
Maybe because they're city tomatoes, I don't know. But my tomatoes are not done yet. In the meantime, what I've done is I've preheated the oven to 350. And waiting to see. Sprinkle some basil. Sprinkle some green onion. We're going to continue to do this. And we'll layer it again. And you know, I have different tomatoes in here. I have some regular tomatoes, and I also had some Roma tomatoes, from Penny, which was very nice. The Roma ones tend to be a little firmer, which sometimes makes a firmer pie, and that's fine. But you know, this is, as Paula Deen said, this is a recipe you don't have to get all crazy with, you know? As long as you get a lot of the moisture out of the tomatoes, you're all set. And put some more basil on top. And this is just to taste. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it's fine.
Yep. So about how many tomatoes did you end up?
This is about 4 tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
4 like regular sized tomatoes. There was we had some small ones, we had some large ones. It doesn't make a difference.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'll put the rest of that on there. They can be, you can put salt and pepper on. I don't do that right now. I will do that later. Because the cheese does have salt in it. And I just figure, we're trying to be a little healthy because Steve will make fun of me if I don't.
I was gonna say anything.
But you would.
No.
So what we're doing is I have a blend of cheeses. This is a blend of Wisconsin sharp cheddar, New York, Vermont sharp, and usually mozzarella. I've got it in here. I'm going to put in 1 cup of mayonnaise to 2 cups of cheese.
See, I didn't even ask you if it was Hellman's Light mayonnaise.
You didn't have to. This is a big container, Steve. Right?
I know.
You know me. Penny and I are bargain hunters.
Yeah. You have to be.
We do. Take that. We're gonna mix this together. I have my oven set at 350. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in, depending on the oven. Mine runs a little fast because it is a convection oven.
Right.
But you put it at 350 and usually up to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. When the top is golden brown, then basically you know that it's all done.
Wow.
We're just gonna take this. We've mixed this well. We put this on the top. And today I was gonna do something with apples, but then I spoke to Miss Laura Jean Ferranti, and she thought I should make this.
Yeah.
That's our video person, but she doesn't say a word.
Well, you have plenty of time to do
Well,
apples.
it's tomato season still. It's
Yeah.
not Russian.
It's still summer. Yeah.
I have a lot of apples already, so. Okay. We've covered this up.
Wow, looks like it's gonna be delicious.
Well, you will be the panel of judges. How's that?
All right. Good.
So what I'm gonna do with the magic of television is I'm gonna put this in the oven and I'll do a little cleaning up and Steve's gonna start on what he does.
Go. Hi, again, I'm Steve Westerman, and that tomato pie looked absolutely delicious. And I remember last year when I worked here in the fall or late summer, you made it and it was absolutely delicious. So I'm sure it'll be great. So I'm gonna make a pasta primavera, which again, I'm using a lot of the vegetables from the farm, from the garden, from my garden and my neighbor's garden. So, and it's a good time of year to get all the fresh vegetables, and it brings out a lot of color too in what you're making. So I'm gonna use fettuccine. I already pre-cooked the fettuccine, just so you know, and I'm just gonna warm it up. But I already pre-cooked it just to make it easier. But when you cook it on al dente style. You want it a little harder, not hard, but not really too soft. So I would recommend that, especially if you're gonna reheat it, okay? And then I started with my vegetables. Basically, I think the eggplant, I had to cut a little thicker. The eggplant, I cut it up here. And what I also did when I was cutting it up is I cut the slices a little thicker, but I took off the edges, the peel, because eggplant can be bitter anyway, and there's ways to make it not as bitter, but a lot of people struggle with the edges and with the peel and the skin on the eggplant. I don't do that on the summer squash. I cut the summer squash. I try to cut it again at least 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. I'd say 1/4 of an inch, just to hold it together, because when you cook it, it kind of falls apart. The zucchini will fall apart too, but I don't skin either one of these or take off the skins. The pepper, I didn't include green pepper, but I have red pepper. The green pepper's from my neighbor's garden, the red pepper's from the farm. I'm gonna not put the green pepper in today. I'm just gonna use the red pepper. Totally up to you guys, what you wanna do. Carrots, what I'm gonna do is once I put all the vegetables in my wok, let me grab it over here. So I brought my wok from home because it cooks up really quick. Just a little olive oil on the bottom, it's nice and seasoned. and I'm gonna throw all these vegetables in the wok. And then I'm gonna I have this little peeler. I'm just gonna do a few from these two types of carrots. I don't know why this is a light colored and this is dark.
But there's like heirloom tomatoes, so it must be heirloom carrots.
Heirloom
I have
carrots.
purple ones, I
Yeah.
have red ones.
Right, so they're from the farm, so I'm just gonna do a little of that. And that adds a little sweetness. Tomatoes, I bought these tomatoes because at the farm they had run out of cherry tomatoes and I didn't have enough from my garden. I took some from my garden and some I bought, and this is from my garden just in case I need extra tomato. I am gonna add, just so you know, when I make a pasta primavera, I pretty much use olive oil and I use garlic. Okay, now I'm promoting the kind of garlic I use. You can use any kind of garlic you want. This is Ultimate Garlic Insanity Auntie Annie's, okay? And we've got this at one of those fairs and stuff, and since then we've been mailing it away. And it's garlic and parsley. It's really easy to use. So I'm going to use mainly that with the olive oil, and then I'm just going to throw in a couple of teaspoons or tablespoons of red sauce, and you can use any jarred sauce or your homemade sauce, whatever you choose, but that's what I'm going to do here. So we're almost ready to cook. What I wanted to tell you is, unless you're a vegetarian or a vegan, a lot of times we are encouraged to use protein when we're cooking for healthy eating. I got this chicken breast. My wife had cooked it at home. I brought it in, I cut it up. Here's the chicken breast, all white meat from the breast. But you know what? You can buy a rotisserie chicken and just pull a piece of the breast off and cut that up. That's always a good protein. You could use pork if you choose. You could use beef, whatever you choose. But chicken goes well with it, and it's easy. Okay, so I just wanted to include that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw everything in and cook it, and then we're going to turn it back over to Steve, okay? Okay, so I'm heating up the oil in the wok, and it heats up really quick, so you really don't have to worry about it taking too long. And now I'm going to put the eggplant. So now the summer squash, the red pepper, zucchini. I didn't cut the zucchini because it'll cook down quicker than the others. I don't understand why it's sticking here, but it is. There we go. Okay. So there's the zucchini. Okay, I did leave this out when I was telling you about the ingredients. This is scallions from my garden. I just cut them up, usually a pair of scissors or a knife. The scallions. The tomatoes I'm gonna wait on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the garlic and then the carrot. So what I want to do is I have a little measuring spoon here. It's about a teaspoon. I need to start to turn that, I think. So I got it, not a teaspoon, it's a tablespoon. So a full tablespoon should cover those vegetables plenty, okay? And let me just move the vegetables around in the wok as they start to cook. So I'm going to put in my tomatoes after, okay, because I don't really have to cook them up. They just have to be warmed up just a little or not even. A lot of times when I throw the tomatoes in my dishes, I leave them cold, and that's okay because they warm up from what you're cooking. So a little red sauce. I did tell you guys I do that. So I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons, I'm sorry, I keep getting that mixed up. A couple of tablespoons of red sauce. I prefer not to use too much red sauce. And some pasta primaveras call for a cream sauce, like a pink cream sauce. But I'm using primarily the olive oil and the vegetables. Because I really want you to taste the vegetables. Of course, you're going to taste the garlic too. But that goes good with zucchini, summer squash, eggplant. It all goes good. So I'm cooking this up. Heat-wise, on the wok, I've got it on low to medium, not high, because it'll burn and ruin it. And like I said, the carrots. So I just want to do the carrots, just add a little sweetness. So really what I do, you can do carrots any way you want, but I find that the carrots cook really easy when you do this. And you just, have the little peels. And they cook in really easy. I do this when I make my homemade spaghetti sauce too. I add a little carrot. And I'll even try this other one because I really don't know what the difference is between that carrot and this. This one's more of a yellow, but I got them at the farm, fresh carrots, so you can use any carrots you want. So that's that. And I just got the tomatoes to put on, and then I'm gonna put it over the zucchini. So it's cooking up pretty quick here. Once again, you can keep the tomatoes cold or not, your choice. I'm just gonna throw these cherry tomatoes in there. Or grape, I think they're called grape tomatoes. There's so many different kinds of tomatoes, like Steve said. And basically, that's gonna be it. I think I put in all the ingredients except for the green pepper. I didn't put in the green pepper, which is, I don't like green pepper, so that's your choice. I'm gonna give it to Steve today. And I already cooked my fettuccine, so I'm just gonna heat it up. There you go. Very good. And I already cooked the fettuccine, so it's all ready. It'll be ready to go once this is done. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, any questions? No?
You always see the finished product. That's all, Steve.
All right. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over to Steve. Thank you so much. Voila, we're finished.
So with the magic of television, we have our tomato pie,
Wow.
which we have right here, decorated just a little bit. Again, the ingredients we had, I pre-cooked a pie shell. I blanched the tomatoes and peeled them and let them drain to get the salt out of them. I had a couple of stems of green onion that I cut up and about a half a cup of basil that came from the garden, and I cut that up. It was 2 cups of cheddar and mozzarella blend, but whatever you like to have, and a cup of mayonnaise to put on the top, and then it just gets baked.
Wow.
Now, it does look nice. I think it looks kind of nice. It might be a mess when we cut it, but that's a chance we're gonna have to take, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is, tomatoes are messy. That's just the way it is.
Well,
I think
we'll,
you did
we'll
an
see
awesome,
what we'll see what we can
awesome
come up
job. Awesome job.
with. I did see a trick the other day to get the first piece out if you're not going to reuse the pie plate. You know, this is a disposable one. You can clip it here and clip it here, and then peel it down, and then that piece comes right out.
Oh, okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can use one of the. We don't really have a pie server here, but I'm going to see if I can do this and not make a huge mess. And today, the tester will be Laura Jean, who's our lovely video person, the multi-talented Laura Jean.
Oh, yeah,
And
that came.
we have a piece of pie right
That's
here.
not messy. That looks great.
The key is to get a lot of the moisture out of the tomatoes. That's why I patted them dry.
And the tomatoes had salt in them because you blanched them.
No,
God.
no. Blanching was just
I wish
boiling
you could
water.
Oh,
see
you
how
add-
good that profile is, because it's amazing.
Wow, it looks-
Right?
So, no, give your best poker face now, Laura Jean.
Really good.
Really good?
You don't need salt at all.
Right.
Right. And
It tastes very salty, actually.
Well, you know what I did? I put a little salt on top of the tomatoes just to help the moisture come out. That's why I didn't put any salt in.
Oh my god, I love it.
You love it?
all right.
Okay. Steve, would you like to try some?
Sure.
Okay.
Small piece.
Oh, he's not very brave, is he?
No, I'm brave. I just want to have room to try different stuff.
Like yours?
I'll have some of mine, some of yours.
I'm definitely making this.
I like the centerpiece with the basil. That's really nice.
Well, we just have to do a little bit, don't we?
Thank you.
Okay.
How about you? Are you gonna try?
I am going to have some, but we have to.
Not yet. Right?
Well, I do have to say that I did a practice run this week, and that was with tomatoes that Tina had brought in for me from her family's
Very
garden.
good, right?
Oh, yeah, it's really good. So Tina brought you in tomatoes?
Yeah, so I did a little test run this week.
Wow.
You know?
You know, this is vegetarian too. I mean, it's not vegan, but
Yeah,
if you know any vegetarians, this would be a nice.
Hello, my family.
Mm-hmm.
really.
Really don't mind anything that's smothered in
Cheese.
Yeah.
Mmm,
Oh, see, I did the. I made a mess of mine, but that's okay.
oh, it's delicious.
I made sure that yours looked nice.
It did. All right, next.
Very good. Okay.
Okay.
So next we have the pasta primavera. I did throw in the chicken while it was cooking, just to warm up the chicken. You can, if you rather have it cold on the sides, up to you. And the other thing is Laura Jean suggested to me to take the noodles, which were already pre-cooked, and throw them right in the wok. If you don't have a wok, you can use a saute pan, whatever you need to use. So Jean's gonna try some for us here. You want a lot of vegetables or a pasta, both?
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of
That's
everything.
good.
So there's the pasta, and now let me get more vegetables for you.
Thank you.
Yep, and some zucchini.
Perfect.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's
All
great.
right. Some chicken. You want some chicken?
I got a piece.
You got a piece. Good.
This is a
Good.
very attractive.
A little in this dish,
I lost it. Sorry.
or I'm not allowed to have any.
Oh, Steve. Yep.
Just a little in that dish right there. That's
You're
fine.
allowed to have.
Gotta twirl it up, you know.
There you
Let's
go.
roll it up.
All right.
And the vegetables.
Mm. Very good.
Thank you.
Very fresh
Oh,
and light.
good. Good. I'm glad. It's a good summer dish, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think mine's got a few more calories in it than
Little bit.
Steve does, but
Here you go, Steve.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. I guess if you really wanted to go healthy, you would have a different kind of pasta. I used the regular, regular white pasta,
Mhm.
but you could do whole wheat. I
Mhm.
guess if you like that. Or now there's also all the vegetable pastas are good, right?
Mhm.
You'd have you use zucchini.
This is very good,
and-
Steve.
Oh, thank you.
I wonder if you could do this over white rice.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, yeah,
You didn't want pasta.
right.
Yeah,
Mm.
6
Oh,
and a half
brown
dozen
rice?
of another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you did brown rice, but that takes much longer to cook.
Mm-hmm.